Alright, in this video we're going to be making this drying rack. We're painting our kitchen, we're using it to put all the doors on to dry. It just uses 10 2x4s. It's going to be used to hold our doors. I'm sure you could use this for a lot of other things. I'm going to make it kind of nice so we can use it in the future, arts and crafts, painting other cabinets, that type of stuff. So from a tool side, what you're going to need is at least a chop saw. I use a table saw to get these pieces. This isn't really necessary. You could just buy 1x2s or whatever size you want. But I use only 2x4 construction, so I have 2x4s for everything. If you have a table saw, you can rip them. If not, you'll have to buy different size material. So all you need for materials, 2x4s, bunch of 2x4s. And then for tools, besides your saws, you'll need an impact driver or a screwdriver, something to measure with. I got a tape measure and a square and my pencil, and then some screws. I got some 3-inch screws and some 2-inch screws. So I'm going to go deeper into my materials real quick. Alright, like I said, we're using all 2x4s. I used 9 in all these pieces you see here. Now I'm going to go through and tell you what sizes you have to cut. I already cut everything, obviously. We're ready to go. So I'll tell you what all you need to cut, and then you can pause the video or keep watching, whatever you got to do. So these are going to be all the slats going up and down. So this is the part I use my table saw. These are 2x4s that are ripped 1 inch thick. And then they're 2x4s 3.5 inches. So I cut off 1/4 inch roughly to get the round over off, just so it'd be look a little nicer, a little cleaner. You don't have to do that at all. So that's all these. And they're 4 foot long, so it's just the 2x4x8 cut in half. These are 5 feet. This is going to be the upright posts on either side. And then these pieces are the offcuts of this cut at 45s. 2 of the offcuts. And then these 2 you'll have to cut out of a new piece. These are just going to be here at an angle to go into the legs. And then here is just a 2x4 just cut in half. These are going to go on the floor and be the bottom leg for our sides. And actually the only thing I don't have here, and you can choose which size this is everything to make the 2 sides, and then there's plenty of your 9th board left. However wide apart you are, it depends on what you need to put in your rack. So I'm just going to pick my smallest door and cut a 2x4 piece that big, and that's what we'll attach these 2 pieces together with. And now we'll get to measuring. So now we're going to do a bunch of measuring. I'm going to measure out where all my pieces are going to go and where all my screws are going to go and all that kind of stuff ahead of time, so this will go together much nicer, much easier, much quicker. I'm going to bring you in closer so you can see what I'm actually doing. Alright, I'm going to start with measuring out all of these. I think what I'm going to do to make this as easy as possible, we're going to measure out where half of it is. It's a 2x4 cut in half, so it's 2 feet. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a screw 1 inch on either side. So we're going to put a screw at 23 and a screw at 25. And then we use our square to mark 3/4, which is the middle of this board. Right there. And then once I got this figured out, I'm just going to transfer those marks onto all my other boards. So we'll just do 3 or 4 at a time here. Alright, so if I line them up with each other and just kind of draw a line in here, so we got half, we got 3/4 right there, and then we got 1 inch, 3/4 right there, and then 3/4 right there. And then same on the other one. 3/4. Instead of drawing a mark, I'm just kind of pushing. 2x4s are pretty soft. Should work fine right there. And right there. Okay. So we're just gonna do that. And then once I have them marked, I'll just move them out of the way. Grab a couple more. All right, now that they're all marked, we can move on to the risers. So on these, I already kind of marked this one out. This one will vary by how high you want these to be. If you're following my plan, I started 2 inches down right here, and then we're gonna go every 4 inches. So I already made a mark every 4 inches, but I'll just make it a line. So this is where our rungs are gonna actually go. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's all 12. And the other thing we're going to want to do is mark, so 3.5 inches. So we want in 1 3/4. And you can always check and make sure that's the center of something. 1 3/4, 1 3/4. And then we're going to want to make that mark on all of them. And then this, once we get to assembly, we'll line up our middle mark with this mark and then put our screws in. Now we just got to do the same thing to our other riser. We'll be good to go. We'll move on. What we're really going to mark is it'd be good to know the center of these, which is just 2 feet. All right, now we'll move on to assembling her. We're gonna start with putting all the rungs on this thing. All right, now we're gonna attach all these. We're just gonna use 2-inch construction screws. Just like I said previously, we're gonna take this, we're gonna line it up with the lines, and we're just gonna drive a couple screws through those holes. You could pre-drill these, but it's just a shop tool. It might split a little bit like that, but it's no big deal. It'll still hold. It's just going to hold some cabinet doors. It doesn't have to be wildly structural. Or another trick is if you go in reverse a little bit and then go. See, it'll kind of pre-drill your hole so it doesn't split. Trick that I've learned always works. So maybe I'll do that. We'll just kind of go in reverse and go forward. And then see these two split, and that's it. Now we'll just move along down the line. All right. I just gotta do the same thing all over again on the other side. I mean, we're pretty far done now, so now we need to put the ends on it. So I'm gonna move some of this out of the way. Move all my stuff out of the way here. We're gonna slide this down. Now we're going to put the bottom together. So what we're going to do here is, one more measurement. Where's the center of this? So we're going to put this right there. So we got right there. Measure halfway. Line that up at the bottom. And then for this I'm going to use 3-inch screws. And then make sure that looks pretty square. And then for these legs, we're gonna have to flip this over and do them how I want. So let's do that. I've gotta flip this whole thing over real quick. Alright. Then from the other side, we're just going to take these where they line up flush with the bottom. These are two 45-degree cuts. And again, some 3-inch screws. There are 4 of those. So since they're 45 degrees, just find wherever they fit flush and put it right there. You don't have to measure. And this should brace it up and down. Real nice. So I'm just going to drive, let's do one through the top. Do one from the side right there. Should work. Move this where I can get to the other one. Do the same thing over here. Line it up with the bottom. Not quite touching though, because I want it to lay on this. One and at an angle. The impact's getting hot. Smells a little burnt. Okay. That is one side complete. The only thing left, finish the other side, put the two pieces together. Okay. Now the next step, we're gonna cut some pieces however big your width needs to be. I think I'm gonna cut my pieces about a foot. Let's do 3 of those, 3 or 4. All right. So the last thing you gotta do is I got these 4 pieces that are 1 foot. These are what you could adjust to make your racks wider. These 4 pieces are gonna attack my 2 sides together. So I pre-screwed in all my screws right here, 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 and here. So I'm just gonna start putting my little pieces in. Alright, here's our final product. Let's see how it works. So we'll use it, we'll probably be grabbing it from under. And then we'll just kind of set them on there to dry as we're painting. Boom. That'll work. If you made it this far, thanks for watching episode 20. Hopefully I'll keep going for another 20. They'll keep coming out Friday at 3. I just got a couple minutes of
just us cutting stuff, B-roll. And then right at the very end, I have a clip that'll be regular speed, and it's of our table saw just kind of stopping. And it ended up not being a huge problem. We just had to reset it. I had a friend had to tell me that because I had never had this happen before. It just kind of stops.